Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Tira Vanachari Munatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तो रीडिंग फ्रॉम Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 14, The Story of King Vena, verse number 4. Sarudda nripasthana unnado asta vibhutibhi avamene mahabhagan stabda sambhavita swata. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. When the king ascended to the throne, he became all powerful with 8 kinds of opulences. Consequently, he became too proud. By virtue of his false prestige, he considered himself to be greater than anyone. Thus he began to insult great personalities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word Ashta Vibhuti Bhi, meaning by 8 opulences, is very important. The king is supposed to possess 8 kinds of opulences. By dint of mystic yoga practice, kings generally acquired these 8 opulences. These kings were called Raja Rishis, kings who were also great sages. By practicing mystic yoga, a Raja Rishi could become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, and could get whatever he desired. A Raja Rishi could also create a kingdom, bring everyone under his control, and rule everyone. These were some of the opulences of a king. King Vena, however, was not practiced in yoga, but he became very proud of his royal position nonetheless. Because he was not very considerate, he began to misuse his power and insult great personalities. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14, verse number 4, translation. When the king ascended to the throne, he became all powerful with 8 kinds of opulences. Consequently, he became too proud. By virtue of his false prestige, he considered himself to be greater than anyone. Thus, he began to insult great personalities. Hare Krishna. So, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of King Anga and then King Vena. King Anga is a pure devotee who got a son who was very cruel. So cruel that when he would go for hunting, he would kill so many animals unnecessary. And when he would play with children, he would murder the children. And all the citizens were afraid of him. So King Anga, he tried a lot to reform his son, but he failed. So he became very frustrated in his family life. And finally one night, without informing anybody, he left the palace to the forest. In the morning, when the ministers and the priests and the citizens and the palace residents and the servants, they came to know that King Anga has left without informing, they went to search for him, but they couldn't search. So they all started crying. And they came back and informed all the Rishi Munis headed by Bhrigu Muni. So the Rishi Munis, who are always renounced from social and political life, they just performed their tapasya. They came to the city because without the king, the citizens were unprotected, unregulated, undisciplined. And there were lots of thieves and robbers who would steal the citizens, not just at night, but even at daytime, because there was no king to punish, because there was no king to take care of law and order, because there was no king to see the justice and judicial department, because there was no king, so the citizens were unprotected, and the thieves and the robbers were using that opportunity. So the sages, they decided that we should have some king. And they said the only option we have now is Vena, the son of Anga Maharaj, the prince. We should make him the king, even though he is cruel. But it is better to have a cruel king rather than have no king. Blind uncle is better than no uncle. So at least some king would be there. So they spoke to Sunita, the queen of King Anga, the wife of King Anga, and the mother of King Vena, and took her permission, and then they installed Vena as the king of the place. However, the ministers, they disagreed. The minister said that you sages, you are making Vena as the king, and after making him the king, you will go away and you will continue your prescribed duties of reading Vedic literature, performing yajna, doing tapasya. But we ministers have to stay here with the king. And being cruel, he will torture us also and the praja also. So we don't agree with this arrangement. But the sages said if there is no king, then the citizens would anyway be in torture. Anyway, they would be in bad shape. So better we have the king. Let us see. So ministers were not agreeing, but some king has to be there. So they made Vena as the king. Now before Vena was the king, there were many thieves and robbers who would steal and harass the citizens even in daylight. After Vena became the king, there was not a single thief and robber active. Not a single robbery took place because Vena was the biggest robber. Vena himself was such a big robber that all small thieves and robbers, out of fear, they started hiding. So when there's a big snake, then he eats all the small snakes. And he also eats all the rats, whom the small snakes are supposed to eat. Big fish eats small fish. So big robber, he eats the small robber so that he gets the full cake. So all the small thieves and robbers, they were being punished and they were afraid. So they went into hiding, like rats go into hiding when snake approaches. Because Vena himself was such a big robber and thief. So Vena was now all powerful king. Everything was at his command. He had all the treasury and all the taxes and all the citizens under him. He had the law under him. He had the ministers under him. Whatever he says has to happen. The army was under him. The weapons were under him. So the all-powerful Vena, who was already cruel, became more cruel, more violent. And he became extremely proud of his position. So proud that he would consider himself greater than anybody. In fact, in the next verses we will see, he thought, I am God. That is how pride goes into the head. He was so proud that he started insulting senior personalities, respectable personalities. The 6 anarthas, one of them is pride, lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. Pride means you value yourself more than others. I am great. I am best. Others are third class. Others are lower than me. There's a false estimation of oneself as higher as compared to others around us. That's pride. Pride means Maya is taking you on a ride and eventually be glide. So that's not good. Pride, anartha, one of the very powerful anartha which can damage our spiritual advancement. A proud person, he stops respecting his seniors. He insults his seniors, and that is not good. Whatever our status may be in life, those who are senior to us should always be respected, whatever the situation may be. Every devotee has 4 seniors. One is senior by age. Senior by age. Any devotee, any person who is of age higher than us is a senior member of the society, and we should respect that senior person by age. Second is senior by coming to Krishna consciousness or senior by initiation. Even if my age is more than somebody, but if he came to Krishna consciousness before me, or if he took initiation before me, then he is my senior. And I should respect that person, respect that devotee who took initiation before me, or who came to Krishna consciousness before me, even if my age is more. So senior by age, then senior by coming to Krishna consciousness. Then third is senior by management. Even if somebody is junior to me in age, even if I took initiation before him, but if he is higher in management, then I should respect him as a senior manager. Senior by management. And fourth is senior by sannyas, senior by ashram. Like a sannyasi, even if his age is lower, and even if there is some grahastha who is initiated before him, or who is a manager, and the sannyasi is not a manager, but still sannyasi is respected because he is higher in ashram. Sannyas ashram is highest. Brahmachari, then grahastha, then vanaprastha, then sannyas. So every devotee has 4 types of seniors. A, senior by age. B, senior by coming to Krishna consciousness or initiation. C, senior by managerial position. And D, senior by ashram. And we should respect such a person. There is difference between seniority and advancement. A devotee who is advanced than us, we should surrender to such a devotee and receive instructions, receive shiksha for our spiritual advancement. So advanced devotee may not be a senior devotee, and a senior devotee may not be advanced. So for our spiritual guidance, we should select a Uttam Adhikari, an advanced devotee. And under the shelter of a Uttam Adhikari, an advanced devotee, we should perform devotional service. Though after years of practice, it is expected one will become advanced, but it is not necessarily true. So a senior necessarily may not be advanced. But even if he is not advanced, of course we should not judge, but for our own growth, when we discriminate, but we should still respect a senior. It is not difficult to become senior. It's very easy. I'll tell you a very simple formula to become senior devotee. Very simple. Just be alive. Just keep breathing. Just be alive, you'll become a senior member of the society, senior member of your family, senior member of ISKCON, senior member of your city. So seniority is not a qualification, though it is a custom, etiquette, that senior person receives respect. But the qualification of a devotee is to become advanced, is to develop faith and dependence on Krishna. So we join ISKCON not to just become senior devotee. After few years become senior, get respect and life अच्छा चल रहा है. No. We join ISKCON to go deeper into our internal consciousness so that we become advanced devotee, which means we develop a very high taste in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We develop love and affection for Krishna. We develop faith and dependence on Krishna. We develop eagerness to perform devotional service. And we develop good character and friendliness to all living entities without envy in our heart. All our dirty things go away. Pandita Samadarshina. We become equal in vision to all living entities. We develop qualities like tolerance, forgiveness, compassion, humility, honesty, truthfulness, self-control, austerity, clean, peace, wise, intelligent, knowledgeable, and walk on the path of pure devotional service, exemplifying all the standards of Srila Prabhupada mentioned for a devotee. That is the purpose of coming in contact with ISKCON. That is the purpose of associating with devotees, to practice Uttama Bhakti, to practice Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, to practice pure devotional service. Not that after few years we become senior and get respect and juniors are around us and we become chaos and we loosen our sadhana or going deep inside our heart to introspect and grow. One should have a burning desire to grow in Krishna consciousness. One should have a great zeal to grow in Krishna consciousness, and that happens by a very extremely attentive hearing, attentive chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra when we chant 16 rounds of japa, and attentively hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class and reading Srimad Bhagavatam and introspecting and going deeper into our heart so that we get transformed. We become a better person and a better devotee than last year. And we change our habits to more better habits in Krishna consciousness. We should know the next step of my spiritual growth. And we should associate with those who are highly advanced or more advanced than us and hear from them and learn from them, so that we keep growing in Krishna consciousness. And this life, we develop 100% perfection, going back home, back to Godhead. No more birth. So a devotee should be focused on this, that he should respect all greater personalities. But out of pride, out of envy, out of false prestige of opulence, one insults great personalities, then his bhakti can be finished. His opulence will be finished. We have example of Indra. Once the demigods and demons had a big fight and Indra was defeated. He became wounded and he had to retreat back. So the reason he got defeated is because of offense to Durvasa Muni. What happened is once Indra was sitting on the elephant and going on a procession, and so many apsaras and musicians and singers and bodyguards were going with him on the procession, followed by so many demigods. So Indra was like a royal king sitting on the elephant. So Durvasa Muni came there and he was very pleased with Indra. And Durvasa Muni was wearing a very nice flower garland. So he removed the flower garland and offered it to Indra. He put it in the neck of Indra. That was Durvasa Muni's blessing and Mahaprasad. Sometimes senior devotees offer garland to junior devotees, which is in their neck. This is their blessings. Now Indra was sitting in a big procession, already wearing ornaments and garlands. So he received Durvasa Muni's garland, and after 2 minutes he removed the same garland and put it on the trunk of his elephant. He offered it to the elephant. An elephant, he didn't like the garland and threw it on the ground and trampled and smashed the garland with his feet. And Durvasa Muni saw this and he became very angry that Indra, you are so proud of your opulence that you offended and insulted me. I offered you nice garland as blessings, and that garland you offered it to your dumb elephant who threw it on the ground and trampled and smashed the garland. I curse you. You will lose all your opulence. And Indra, in the next fight with the demons, he got defeated and wounded and he lost all his opulence. And he became a poor person and the demons won and became the king of heaven. So this is the result of insulting great personalities. This happened one more time with Indra. Once Bali Maharaj attacked Indra and Indra was defeated. And the reason is Indra had offended Brahaspati. What had happened is Indra, as every day, was sitting in his assembly on the royal throne of heaven with Mother Sachi, Indra's wife. And Apsaras were dancing and musicians were playing the musical instruments and Gandharvas were singing and all the servants were offering chamar and peacock feather fan and drinks and fruits and all the other demigods, Chandra, Vayu, Agni, they were sitting and enjoying the dance of the Apsaras. And like every day, Brahaspati came in the assembly. And Indra saw his spiritual master Brahaspati has come. But Indra didn't get up from his seat. He didn't went and welcome Brahaspati. He didn't offer any seat to Brahaspati. He didn't make any bodily movement or eye contact. He didn't did anything to respect Brahaspati or didn't offer obeisances. And Brahaspati saw Indra is so proud of his opulence. He's sitting on the throne and has no etiquette to welcome his spiritual master. Brahaspati left the place. And then Indra realized his mistake. And he felt bad, guilty, and he wanted to beg forgiveness from Brahaspati, but he couldn't find Brahaspati. Brahaspati didn't want to meet him because he knew he was very proud now. And Shukracharya came to know that Indra no longer has blessings of his guru Brahaspati. So Shukracharya is guru of demons. So he told Bali Maharaj that Indra has lost the blessings of his guru. Now he is very weak. You can attack him. And Shukracharya gave blessings to Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj attacked Indra's planet. And Indra had to run away. All the demigods, including Indra, they became small birds and insects. And they flew away from heaven. And for a few years they stayed in Dharavi in Mumbai. and Bali Maharaj acquired the heavenly planet, and from there he started ruling all over the universe. So Indra, because he offended Brahaspati, a great personality, he lost his opulence. Even Daksh Prajapati, he offended Lord Shiva. Now you see, Daksh Prajapati is father-in-law of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva married the daughter of Daksh Prajapati. So Daksh Prajapati was the leader of all Prajapatis. And there was an assembly of all the demigods. So when Daksh Prajapati came, everybody stood up in order to respect Daksh Prajapati. But Lord Shiva didn't stand up, and Lord Brahma of course didn't stand up, because Lord Brahma is father of Prajapati, Daksh Prajapati. So Daksh Prajapati was already very envious of Lord Shiva, because everywhere Lord Shiva was worshipped more than Daksh Prajapati. Lord Shiva was glorified more than Daksh Prajapati. Lord Shiva was respected more than Daksh Prajapati, and that's why Daksh Prajapati became envious. And Daksh Prajapati, he saw Lord Shiva sitting, and he became very angry that this fellow is my son-in-law. He married my daughter, so I am like his father, I am senior, so he should have stood up and offered me respect, obeisances, but he didn't do that. So I curse him, and he cursed Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva is very highly advanced Vaishnava. He was at that time completely absorbed in Paramatma in the heart. So he didn't have to stand up to offer obeisances to Daksh Prajapati. But out of envy, Daksh Prajapati got angry and he cursed Lord Shiva. And so much so that Daksh Prajapati wanted to show to the whole world that we can be successful without the blessings of Lord Shiva. So he arranged a very big fire sacrifice, and he invited everybody in the universe except Lord Shiva. And he wanted to show that I can do a successful sacrifice without presence of Lord Shiva. He is not required to us. And that Lord Shiva's wife Sati Mata also visited, even though Lord Shiva was not invited. But Sati Mata said, why we need an invitation to go to father's house? I will go and attend the program. My father had given me so many nice sarees and ornaments, but now Lord Shiva never took me to any party, so I never got to wear this. So now I will get the opportunity to wear this. So she went without the permission of Lord Shiva, and there she saw her father didn't welcome her, and there was no seat reserved for Lord Shiva, and the Brahmanas were not chanting any mantras to give the oblations to Lord Shiva, and they didn't give any prasad to Lord Shiva. She became so angry and upset that she committed suicide right in the pandal, in the house, in the residence of her own father. And when Lord Shiva came to know this, he became so angry that his anger personified. Veerbhadra came and killed Daksh Prajapati, and killed so many Brahmanas and wounded so many Brahmanas and demigods because they offended Lord Shiva, a great personality. Later on, by Lord Brahma and Indra, when they begged forgiveness, Lord Shiva was pacified. He gave them forgiveness, and he came, and Daksh Prajapati was killed. His head was cut and put into the fire kunda. So he cut a goat's head and put it on Daksh Prajapati's body. So he stayed for many years with a goat's head. And then he arranged for the sacrifice to be successful. And then Vishnu came in that sacrifice. Even though Vishnu was invited earlier, but he never came because he knew Shiva is being offended, so I will not go. So we learn from this, offending a great personality is not good. That's Vaishnava Aparadh. And Daksh Prajapati lost his head and he had to receive a goat's head. And any forum or any meeting or any assembly or any group or any association or any house or any village where Vaishnavas are offended, we should not visit that house, that village, that forum, that assembly, that friendship, that group. We should reject such association where Vaishnavas are offended, or violence is committed, or criticism is done, or false accusation is done, or gossip is done, or prajalpa is done. That's not good for our spiritual growth. So pride is very powerful. So Vena is so proud, he started insulting great personalities. And in the future we see he was killed by the Brahmanas. So a leader, like Vena is a king, a leader should be a father figure. Whether you are leader of your family or your building or leader in the temple or a group of devotees or a preacher, should be father figure, forgiving others minor transgressions, teaching others Vaishnava etiquette by one's own example, being highly respectful to all living entities, even juniors, even newcomers, even those who commit mistake, even those who give us pain, even those who are troubled by their senses, even those who commit sinful activities. If they are approaching us for shelter, we should be highly respectful to them. We should not talk to them as their boss and treat them as our servants or slaves, thinking that I am great. We should serve people as servants of Krishna, and they are guests of Krishna. Like so many visitors come to the temple and we stay in the temple. So these visitors are guests of Radha Rasbihari. Radha Rasbihari's house they are coming as a guest, as a visitor. And I am staying as a servant of Radha Rasbihari. So if I am staying in my master's house and a guest comes to my master's house, how should I treat the guest? I should treat the guest as I treat the master, because they are master's guests. They have not come to meet me. They have come to meet my master, Radha Rasbihari. So I should be good, hospitable to them. If I don't treat them nicely, then master will not be happy that why did you treat badly to my guest? You cannot be my servant, you should be out. Even if enemy number one of my village comes to my master's house and I open the door and see him, how should I treat him? I should treat him nicely, because my personal enmity is outside the master's house. I am servant of my master. He has not come to meet me, he has come to meet my master. So I should treat him nicely even if he is my enemy number one. There is no personal consideration here. So everybody should be treated very nicely, even newcomers, even new devotees, even imperfect souls. That is job of a leader, to be respectful, not to be proud of his position. The position is given to provide authority and strength to help the weak person grow in life. If I have strength of money or strength of age or strength of body or strength of intelligence or strength of knowledge or strength of some skills or strength of management, then I should use that strength to help the weak person grow in life. A rich person should help a poor person to grow in life. A manager should help a subordinate to grow in life. A senior should help a junior to grow. All our strength should be used to help a weak person to grow in life. Then that strength is of good use. But if I use my strength to abuse others, to exploit others, to manipulate others, to disturb others, to damage others' spiritual growth, that is called violence or even material growth. Then Krishna will take away that strength. And that abuse and manipulation which I do, that exploitation which I do, will incur me bad karma, and in terms of devotees, Vaishnava aparadh. And that will damage my own spiritual growth. So leader's character should be very nice. He should not value himself more than others. As a humble servant of servant, he should take care of others. Like Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra was a father figure. So a leader or a devotee should use his opulence in the service of Krishna. We have example of Yudhishthira Maharaj, who became king of Indraprasth, very opulent. So what did he do? He performed a Rajasuya sacrifice. Rajasuya sacrifice to show to the whole world two things, that A, I am servant of Krishna, that's why I am so opulent. So you also want to be opulent, you become servant of Krishna. And B, he used his opulence to prove to the world that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead by doing Agra Puja of Krishna, the first puja of Krishna. For doing Rajya sacrifice, you require lots of money and gold and power. And Yudhishthira Maharaj used his opulence to do Rajya sacrifice. And the main item in the Rajya sacrifice is Agra Puja. Among the whole assembly, the most superior person is selected for Agra. Agra means first puja, to first worship. So when Agra Puja event was to happen, the main event, Yudhishthira Maharaj spoke in the assembly that whom should I select for first worship? Any suggestions? No, there is Vyasdev, and there is Brahma, there is Shiva, and there is Bhishma Pitama, there is Yudhishthira's Guru Dronacharya, there is Dhritarashtra, and there are demigods Indra, Chandra, Varun, Vayu. And Sahadev and Nakul, they spoke and they said we should worship Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarva Karana Karanam Vasudevam Sarvamiti Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidanand Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. And everybody agreed, nobody objected initially. Vyasdev agreed, Brahma agreed, Shiva agreed, Bhishma Pitama agreed, Arjuna, Bhim agreed, Dhritarashtra agreed, Dronacharya agreed, Kripacharya agreed. And Yudhishthira Maharaj invited Krishna and made him sit on a golden throne. And he personally, Sahadev and Nakul brought golden utensils and golden plate and golden jug of water and golden bowl. And Yudhishthira Maharaj washed the feet of Krishna and took Charnamrit on his head and he sprinkled it on the head of his assembly and brothers and Draupadi. And tears were gliding from Yudhishthira Maharaj's eyes. His voice choked up and his hairs were standing. And he wanted to see Krishna so closely, but because of so much water, tears in his eyes, he can't see. And he was in so much ecstasy, he can't speak. But he was in so great ecstasy out of love for Krishna that I am doing his Agra Puja in the whole assembly of Bharatvarsh, in the whole assembly of great superior personalities in earth planet and heavenly planets. And this proves that Krishna is superior to all of them. Krishna is superior to Bhishma Pitama, Krishna is superior to Vyasdev, Krishna is superior to Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varun, Krishna is superior to my Guru Dronacharya, Krishna is superior to Dhritarashtra. This proves to the whole world that Krishna is original Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Yudhishthira Maharaj used his opulence to preach Krishna consciousness. And the envious Shishupal, he objected and he offended Krishna and Krishna killed him on the spot with his Sudarshan Chakra. So we should use our opulence in the service of Krishna. If you have used money, you should use that money to give charity to cows, to sadhus and to deities. If you have a house, you should use your house to do program. If you have a car, you should use your car for preaching. If you have some skill, you should use it in the preaching, book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan and Prasadam distribution. And if you have technical knowledge, use it for doing the Zoom classes and preaching on social media and video and so much. So whatever we have opulence, we should use it in the service of Krishna. By that our house is purified, our kitchen is purified, our family is purified, our income is purified. Otherwise every rupee and every grain of rice, we incur sinful reaction if we don't offer it to Krishna. And the accumulation of that sinful reaction will give us pain, will give us distress, will give us miseries. And then people say, अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरा क्यों होता है? Because you are a thief. Everything belongs to Krishna, but you are enjoying without providing him, so you are a thief. If a servant is staying in your house and he picks up your milk from the fridge and your rice and your sugar and make kheer and eats himself, then he is a thief and you will tell him to get out, or you will punish him and he will be in distress. But a servant in your house makes kheer of your raw materials and gives to you. You will be so happy and you say, "Aap bhi lo, bahut acha hai," you also eat. So this house belongs to Krishna and all the raw materials belong to Krishna, and I cook and I eat. So I am a thief. And how a thief can be peaceful and happy? So we are all miserable. But when I cook and give it to Krishna, Krishna is so merciful. He gives his own Mahaprasad that you also eat. And that's how we don't incur any sinful reaction. So very strictly we should not enjoy any bhoga. Only Krishna should enjoy, and we should mercifully receive prasadam. Anything which cannot be offered to Krishna or which is not offered to Krishna, we should not even touch. This outside restaurant food or outside stuff directly we eat without offering, that is not good. That will contaminate our consciousness and we will not grow in bhakti. Because we are enjoying what Krishna is supposed to enjoy. That's thief. That's not good. So we should stop eating factory-based biscuits and products. Whatever is there, we should cook in the house. Offer it with love to Krishna, with Tulsi Maharani and proper procedure and mantras. And then we should honor prasadam. All family members and guests should honor prasadam. And in that way, that prasadam will purify us. Srila Prabhupada, initial days of preaching, he would personally go in the market and purchase vegetables and groceries. He would come and cut, and he will cook. Then he will personally serve. After class, he would serve to everybody, and the hippies would eat and leave their jutha plates right on the floor. Prabhupada would take the utensils and wash the cooking utensils as well as this jutha plates, and then mop the whole floor, and night he will sleep. So many weeks Prabhupada did it personally, and their hearts changed by honoring Prabhupada's prasadam and hearing class. Class, they would hardly understand philosophy, but mainly because of prasadam, they changed. So this is how our temple, there is a Prabhupada disciple, Haridas Prabhu, ITV Haridas Prabhu. He narrates a very nice pastime. Haridas Prabhu, when he joined, he would do some odd work of purchasing something for the temple. Suddenly DT department requires some fruit or some rice or something. He would go and purchase from the local kirana store. And every time when he would purchase, if the bill is 23 rupees, 24 rupees, 1 or 2 coins he will keep with him, 18 rupees. 2 coins he will keep with him and give the bill of 20 and 25, round figure. Few coins he would collect every like that. That was his habit. And what would he do with this collected coin? He would purchase chocolates and eat. He was used to chocolate. So once Prabhupada was in Prabhupada quarters and Haridas Prabhu came back from his life membership preaching. So he went to meet Prabhupada in the Prabhupada quarters, and he offered obeisances to Prabhupada, and one chocolate fell from his bead bag. And Prabhupada saw it. And Prabhupada said, "What is this?" So he was very nervous. He picked it. He said, "Prabhupada, I brought it for you." And he gave chocolate to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada saw the ingredients. Then he told, "Sit here." And Prabhupada went out for 10 minutes outside his room. And he came back with garam, very hot suji ka, pure ghee ka halwa. Prabhupada personally went in the kitchen and in 10 minutes made pure, fresh, hot suji ka halwa, pure ghee. And he gave to Haridas Prabhu and said, "You eat this. Anytime you want sweets, you tell me, I'll make for you. But don't eat these chocolates. This cannot be offered to Krishna." And Haridas Prabhu always has tears in his eyes when he says this. That Prabhupada didn't just chastise him, "Don't eat chocolate." He gave him an alternative by cooking himself and giving him an opportunity. Anytime you want, you tell me, I will provide you sweets. And he said, there's no spiritual master like him who can take care of his disciples so much. And maybe last year I was giving a class in US devotees, and somehow somebody asked me about the chocolate, and I said chocolate cannot be offered to Krishna because Prabhupada said cocoa, chocolate contains cocoa, and cocoa cannot be offered to Krishna. And there's a big discussion going on in US even today that some GBC are saying, no, it's okay to eat chocolate, something like that. Then I went to the US FDA, Food and Drug Administration website to find out what are the recipes, what are the ingredients in chocolate, and you'll be surprised to know that one of the ingredients of chocolate is stool of cockroaches. They actually have stool of cockroaches, some percentage. And day before yesterday I met a student of biotechnology who is looking a job in food processing industries, and I asked him this. He said, yes, India also chocolate contains stool of cockroaches and other insects. So forget just intoxication, cocoa, it contains stool. Who will eat stool? Just out of attraction. So factory products we should avoid. Krishna has given nice fruits, nice vegetables, nice grains. We should cook sattvic, offer it to him, and then honor prasadam. So our consciousness is not contaminated, our heart is pure, and in that way, humbly we practice Krishna consciousness with proper service attitude, not like Vena, become proud of our position, misuse our power and insult great personalities. We should never do that. When we deal with Vaishnavas, we should be very humble, follow Vaishnava etiquette, so that it's a pleasant exchange for both the Vaishnavas. They like to meet us again and again. They like to talk and hear us again and again because they find some pleasant experience. Not that they become fearful and dreadful of us. And sometimes we feel that when I walk, 10 people fear of me. That's a great position. No, that's third class position. People are fearing you, what kind of person you are. People should be attracted to your personality and character and purity. That kind of sweet nature we should have. So King Vena was so proud that he started inserting great personalities. And that is not good, and we should learn that there will be very bad consequences. King Vena was killed later on by the same Brahmanas who appointed him. So we should learn to be humble in Krishna consciousness. Okay, we end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. If there are any comments or questions, you may please ask.
Please may kindly raise their hands for asking questions. Yes, Harisa Narad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
As always, very good lecture, very enlightening, Prabhuji. I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you.
Like you said, we should maintain a Vaishnava teaching.
Yeah, go ahead.
Harisa Prabhu, you can ask the question.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu, I think I had a net problem.
No problem, go
You hear me,
ahead.
Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, while maintaining Vaishnava etiquette, a very live example goes, I'm discharging or doing some seva at the instructions of some senior Vaishnava. And while doing duty, I'm trying to maintain a discipline or impose a rule, what my
The voice is breaking.
I can't hear.
Harisa Prabhu, your voice is breaking. Means it's now stopped. Prabhuji, before he comes, one question is there in YouTube. I'll read out.
Yeah.
And then when Harishnath Prabhu comes, we'll again ask the question. Natarajan Prabhu has written, why Lord Brahma, one of Trinity, attended the homam of Daksha? He should have refused. He should have stopped Daksha, his son, from doing the homam.
So Lord Brahma didn't attend. Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, all the three didn't attend.
Okay.
Even that time and nowadays, sometimes when sons grown up, they don't listen to their father.
Right.
Next.
Prabhuji. I am also having one question, Prabhuji. Is not to have pride is very important, he said. And it is, what are the practical ways by which we can demolish our false ego or false pride, which sometimes crop up?
Well, first of all, we should know whatever belongs to us is false. Nothing belongs to us, everything belongs to Krishna. So any success and opulence, the credit goes to Krishna.
Right.
Second, we should, whatever comes to us, we should use it in the service of Krishna. An opulent person should give charity. And third, we should always act as a servant, and we should have seniors around us so that we remain humble servant rather than having only juniors around us and we remain on a false position of superiority. And we should read and hear again and again that I am servant of Krishna. Lord Brahma, he was told to create by Krishna, and Krishna was so pleased with Brahma, he shook hand with him. So Brahma said, I will not create. If I create, I will become proud that I am the creator. You just now shake hands with me. So So first you solve this problem that I will not become pride, then I will create. And then Krishna, to solve his problem of pride, spoke 4 verses. That 4 verses called Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam. Evam Agre. That I am everything. I am beginning, I am middle, I am end. I am left, I am right, I am top, I am bottom. Everything I am. Anything away from me is illusion. Anything independent of me is illusion. So Brahma, you should remember, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. I am everything. So he said, if you remember these 4 verses, you will never have pride. And those 4 verses are today expanded to 18,000 verses. Same Bhagavatam. So the original Bhagavatam is 4 verses, and the original Bhagavatam was spoken as a solution to original problem, the problem of pride. So the solution is every day we read Bhagavatam, we hear Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, and so humble devotees.
Which canto is that?
Second canto, the 4 verses you want me to tell you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't have a second canto now.
Okay, no problem. Some other time you can.
No, I will message you. You can message to the group.
Okay, brother. Right. Anybody else would like to ask a question? Whether Harishnara Prabhu, are you able to now talk?
Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience, Prabhuji. I have a net problem. Let's just try and ask my question. So while doing seva and following the orders of the senior Vaishnavas allotted me a seva, I may come across the instance that I'm trying to tell some devotees or some other Vaishnavas which possibly offend them. How do I handle this situation? It's very practical situation. I'll give you an example. Like yesterday we were doing the Kala Seva. A lot of people were going around without masks and they were taking the photograph. So I was under instruction from a couple of senior Vaishnavas. They asked me, told me not to impose that the mask should be worn when they're taking the photograph. Because the photographs are going outside the temple premises, maybe on social media. And some people took offense to that and possibly in a language they told me that I should not be interested. So how do we handle this situation while discharging our seva?
No, so we should do our seva, but we should do in a respectful way, not in a rude and harsh and authoritative way, but as a respectful volunteer offering service to the community. And if repeatedly offenses are happening, we should discuss with our senior that this is happening. Either it's because of the way I am doing it, or maybe we should all do it in a different way. Right? So there are ways to do seva, same seva in such a way that etiquette is followed. So maybe a more appropriate authority stands on the door and requests others to wear masks rather than just a volunteer whom people don't know or don't relate to. So yeah, we should not offend devotees. At the same time, we should perform our service. So we should look at a different way how to do the same service without offending others. Right? So there's different ways also to do the same service. So we have to be careful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next.
Any more question? Kindly raise the hands.
Prabhuji, I have a little comment on that.
Yes.
Our Harisa Prabhuji is very humble at his heart, but his voice is very authoritative. So when he speaks, an ordinary person will feel as if he's ordering me, even though he's requesting. So there cannot be any solution for that, because then God has made like that to him.
No, every Makar Sankranti you eat tilgur. They say tilgur kya god god bola. So if you eat tilgur on Makar Sankranti, then whole year you will speak god god.
Today's lecture was very good, and especially that about the subject about the seniority, that senior by age, senior by initiation, then senior by management, and senior by sannyasi. That was very much giving a lesson to us how to respect and where to respect. And therefore I always respect Harisa Narad Praj. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we will end here. I need to have some prasad
May I ask
also. Yeah, okay.
one additional question on what Bhakta Prabhuji said, that about the seniority, which you nicely explained. Normally, like sannyasi, we give great respect, and also the brahmachari also we give great respect, even if they are younger in age. And you said that as per the ashrama, we have to give the respect. So is it that brahmachari, then grihastha, then vanaprastha, then sannyasi that way? I mean, topmost sannyasi, second vanaprastha, then grihastha, then brahmachari. Is it that way? Or if we give to sannyasis and brahmacharis top and then grihasthas next level, is it correct?
No, so the grihasthas are senior to brahmacharis in ashram. So brahmachari generally young boys, that's brahmachari. They should respect the grihasthas who are more mature and experienced. And generally brahmachari, if they don't marry, they become sannyasi. So they become more senior to grihasthas then. But in ISKCON, sannyasi is not given early age.
Yes.
So, but still we should respect them because they are in renounced ashram and celebrate in so many years.
Yes.
Otherwise, in proper varnashram, brahmachari, if they don't marry, they'll take sannyas. So they'll automatically become senior to grihasthas. And brahmachari would be just Gurukul students who are still studying. But here, brahmacharis don't become sannyasis at early age. ISKCON gives sannyas after only age 50. That too after becoming eligible. But because they have renounced their house and staying in temple, we should offer them respects.
Yes. Okay.
Okay?
Hare Krishna.
Okay,
there is
we
no
will.
more question. We'll unmute everybody. Kindly tell 3 times Hari Bol to Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes, kindly unmute.
Okay.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Srimad Prabhupada ki jai.